Alright everybody, let's get started. Today I don't have a lot of time because I gotta teach class in a little bit. I'm on lunch break right now. But there's just some things that I want to touch on because I figured I hate having these long pauses and breaks between videos. So I figure any chance I get, I have a little free time in between things I want to get across and say, I'm gonna just throw a video out there. So somebody sent me a message on the YouTube, Nikila1986, asking me if I have ever used the dark side to protect myself from threats in the other realms, other worlds. It depends on what your meaning of dark side is. I mean, I said this many times, I use these words like the dark arts, SETH dark arts, the dark arts. But these words don't really mean anything, so I don't know what your connotation means about the dark side. I hope you don't mean anything like Star Wars or something like the Force and the dark side and something like that. Not necessarily. When I say dark side, I don't mean evil. I'm just using a word that I like to use. I like the word dark, and I like to see them as a dark art, so I just use that. So there's really no threats in these other realms. It's always about, the threats are always your own. You always end up facing, I'm getting a little close here, you always end up facing yourself in these other realms. Facing yourself meaning anything that you can't pull off or do when you start crossing over, it's all on you. Nothing's really holding you back, nothing's really limiting you, your abilities. And that's even for myself. I'm quite adept at what I do when I cross over to these other realms. But there are times when certain things I can't pull off. I can pull things off, but not the way that I want to pull them off. And I never have any feelings of like, man, I'm being restricted. The holy guardian angels, the brothers of white light, right spiritualhood, and all these other titles people use. I never look at it as I'm being limited. For me, it's always more of like a kind of, it's just me not being strong enough to pull these things off at that time. But it's not even about strength, it's also about the reality that you're in. Sometimes certain things don't work, sometimes they do. There are times, I said this in many videos before, I don't want to repeat myself, but there are times when I try to use telekinesis doesn't work. That doesn't mean that I can't pull off telekinesis. That could mean, well, it could mean that. It could be one reason I'm not focused enough to pull it off, which is very rare because it always works. And other times it could be I'm in a reality where telekinesis is not part of the paradigm of belief in that system. So, sometimes I could end up in a place and I'm really trying to pull off something such as, just for example, telekinesis, and it's not working, and I'm getting pissed off, like, God damn, man, it's not working. But it's not me. It could be I haven't realized the reality that I'm in. It's not possible. That's why it's not working. But not to deviate from your question about using the dark side, if you consider the dark side as being just my power, yeah, I use it all the time. And it's not really threats. I don't see these things as threats. I mean, they can appear threatening, but you can't, don't think in terms of like threats and danger and something's out to get you and all this stuff. Nothing can hurt you. I said this many times. Nothing can touch you, unless you believe it can touch you. Belief is the most powerful force in the universe. Everything, and imagination. Belief backed by imagination is more powerful than anything. Everything that it's in existence, imagine itself into their realities. So everything existed first in the form of the imagination and belief, and those two go hand in hand, so they transition together so smoothly that you don't even know where one ends, where one begins, because they don't. They're both the same. They're both connected. Everything's connected. Everything is energy. So, yeah. Now, other stuff I want to touch on. Yeah, the last video we left off, I went into the ancient ones and all this stuff. Every time I finish a video, I always end up leaving out a lot of important parts. And when I watch the video back, I'm like, damn, I forgot to say this, forgot to say that. But who are the ancient ones? I just gave you guys kind of like a background of my experience with them. There's a lot more deeper parts to that story. I just gave you what that one experience was, but since that experience on Christmas Day, which is now going back almost 3 months ago, a lot of things have happened. I've been training in these other realities, and every night when I go to sleep, I've had these experiences where I am with other entities in the form of people. They look like people anyway. And I'm training other people how to use their powers, training them how to fly, training them how to use telekinesis, training them how to transform, shapeshift into other things, whether it be animals or it could be anything. And these are like whole classes, man, that are taking place. These are whole lessons that happen. Just trying to move this back a bit so I can relax. But yeah, these are whole lessons that are taking place in these other realms, and they're very long too. So I'm teaching what's going on, and I'm being taught. With the information that I get, sometimes it is a manifestation that's showing me how to do something, giving me information. But a lot of this takes place in other parts of sleep states, so-called sleep states, so-called dreams, where consciously I might not be aware of it, but it's being downloaded into me. When I wake up into the morning time, the information is just there. It's just in me. But this is not just a sleep thing. I hope in my other videos I don't make people think it's all about dreams, all about sleep. There's some things you have to understand as far as what is a dream, what is reality. If you go to my blog, I wrote up a whole little thing on that. If you go to SETH.blogspot.com, one of those things. Yeah, it's on the blogspot, by the same name, Seth Dark Arts. I go into detail with that, but everything's a dream, man. Nothing is real. And I know we hear people say this all the time. People always talk about, oh, life is a dream, life is a dream, but it gets much deeper than that. I'm at work now. If you see me looking around, there's people walking by. So yeah, life, what we call waking reality, is the other side of what's known as the dream, the dreaming, or the dream state. And the dream state is the other side of waking reality. There's no split. What happened is we've been separated from ourselves. I was sitting down one day meditating on this real deeply, and then I spoke to a friend over here, and I told him, I believe I found why there's so many problems going on in society, man. We're operating, well, not me and not some people who listen to me, but many people are operating on half their strength, half their power. See, we're supposed to be operating within outer reality and inner reality, crossing back and forth between both and seeing no real division between them. There should be no differentiation. I think I messed that word up. You know what I'm trying to say. There should be no difference. We shouldn't be differentiating between waking and sleeping. That's where our problems came in, when we let people started educating us, telling us that they have, you're awake and this is the real world, and then you sleep and that's fake, it's just your imagination. And then we had this rift in our consciousness, man, in our abilities. And this is why things don't seem to make sense. While we're like all over the place, people are confused, people can't make decisions, people don't know what's going on in their lives, because everyone's basically like bouncing all over the place, man, in physical reality, never acknowledging the dream state. I talk to a lot of people over here in Japan, and it's very interesting to me that pretty much, man, I would say about 90% of the people, if not 95%, damn near 100, most people have completely no recollection of their dream states. And then these same people are walking around saying, what's wrong with me? Why do I have these feelings? Why do I feel stressed? Why do I feel tired? It's very simple. You're not operating on your full power, baby. That's what it is, man. You got to tap in. You got to go deep within yourself, and utilize these powers and balance yourself out between outer and inner reality. All this stuff is necessary. What's funny is, you look at the people who, like myself, people who are watching this video now and many others, people who meditate daily, meditate all the time. I meditate every day. I meditate, wake up in the morning, boom, I go into a meditation. Minimum, it could be like 3 hours. That's just off, straight out, going into 3 hour meditation, tapping into other energies, knowledge and stuff. It's not just me jumping through realities, doing crazy shit, having fun. I mean, sometimes I do that, and it is fun. But a lot of times it's me going into a deep trance state and receiving information about many different topics. It's all coming in at once, and then later on throughout the day, I assimilate it and categorize it into, what it has to deal with. But yeah, look at the people who don't meditate. Look at the people who, I'm a vegetarian, I meditate daily, I body train a lot recently. I've been getting more into it. For the past few months, everybody's like, damn, man, you're getting bigger, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, you know what it is. And they're like, oh, what are you doing it for? You're doing it for the ladies, you're doing it for your health. Yeah, those are true too. It does help to have a nice body. But mostly, the main reason I'm doing it for is because you build up your psychic energy, man. All these changes that are happening within me, as far as me becoming a vegetarian, me training really hard every day, pushing myself to new limits with this physical body. These are all just simply outer, exterior manifestations of what's going on inside of me with my own energy, my own consciousness, my own power, my own soul. These are all just, outward manifestations of what's taking place within. So, yeah, people's outer reality reflects their inner reality. Because what it is, right? The outside world is the inside world. We look outwards. We look at our outer reality, and I'm trying to say, how do I phrase this? We materialize our external reality. We materialize our internal reality externally. So when we look outside, we see the state of our inner psyche, of what's going on inside of us. So if you want to know what you are as an energetic being, as a multidimensional being, just study your thoughts, man. It's all there. Look at how you live your life. If you walk in the street and you see a guy, just say with a girl, look at that bitch motherfucker, how do you get a girl like that? That's your inner state. That's what's happening inside of you. Being a hater. Don't be a hater, but that's what it is, man. You're being a hater now on somebody. Same for women. If you're walking down the street, you see a girl with a nice outfit, and the lady, she looking good, looking all sexy and stuff. Look at that bitch. You don't even know her, and you call her a bitch. You're like, damn, man, what did she do? She didn't do nothing. That's a state of your inner psyche, being a hater, hating on others, being jealous. You have to study your own emotions, and you will know what you are. Now, if you see a guy, with a badass car or whatever, and you're like, all right, yeah, he's doing this thing, then you're not being a hater, and that shows that you've matured past that level. These are just minor examples I'm throwing out, but y'all know what I'm getting at. But yeah, so yeah, we're always externalizing inner realities outside, out of us, and then we get to learn the state of our own inner psyches and what's going on with us. All right, let's see what else. What am I get into now? I had this experience the other day. It was very deep, it was very powerful, it was very emotional. I was meditating in a deep meditation state, and I've experienced, as far as I can understand, the concept of infinity. Now, I know many people are going to say that it's impossible to understand the concept of infinity because it's beyond our neurological thinking, of the way we're constructed neurologically with our brains. But that's why I'm not talking about it from that perspective. I'm talking about it through use of the inner senses. Basically, I was in a deep meditation and expanded my consciousness outwards in all directions as far as I could go. And I know you probably heard this story before. I probably talked about something similar on other videos, but it was very different. Where I know I made a video where I said I experienced everything in existence, and this is it's kind of similar to that, but each time it gets deeper and deeper. I was laughing with my friend because every time we talk, yo man, I had a powerful experience, and we tell these stories, and we realize that every time if an outside person listening, it sounds like we're telling the same goddamn story. It's like I experienced time and space and this and that, but it's different because each time it takes you deeper. You have a deeper level of understanding of what these things are, and a deeper level of understanding on how to get back to those states of consciousness. So yeah, man, I man, this experience was so powerful, man. It really shook me to my core. Not being afraid, but it just made me aware of the powers and abilities that we have to look forward to once we leave this material realm, this physical realm. I want to initiate, which is not really new because this has been going on for centuries, but I kind of want to reinitiate the a new culture. That's what I really what I'm about. I'm trying to initiate a new culture where every person takes upon themselves a new level of understanding for themselves, and something that hasn't really been done in this century. Now I made some other videos in the past going into the dream art sciences, the mental physics, and the complete physician. And these are things that I would like to, when I say initiate a new culture, this is not something that's going to need some organizations or start a club. And it's none of that. You don't need to do all that. You don't need any qualifications, anybody. The dream art scientists was the people who are able to go into their own dream states, and they study the dreams from within, noticing the beginning of dreams, how they start, the dream as it's actually happening, the dream as it finishes. The mental physics was about projecting your consciousness, using your consciousness in different ways and projecting it into different altered states of consciousness. And the complete physician was the role of a person understanding the connection between the soul and the body, the soul-body connection, and the state of the person's emotions on the body, and how these things all correlate with each other. All these arts all tie together. So we're basically going to have to, we need the acquisition of some old ancient arts, man, to bring us back to the state of where we originally supposed to be at. And in order to do this, it's going to take a lot on you to decondition yourself. Excuse me. Everybody's going to have their way. So no two people should be doing the exact same thing. I have my way. This is my style. I call them the dark arts. And the dark arts for me simply is those things. The dream art scientists, the mental physics, and being a complete physician, understanding my own body and the connection it has with everything. Once you start doing this, you will open up a new realm of reality, a new realm of possibilities, a new realm of imagination for yourself. Yeah, so, sorry, I'm just keeping track of time. I can start this class. But yeah, so it's time. It's time to just start going into a new way. It's time to start a new revolution. The only true revolution is a revolution of thought, a revolution of thinking, a revolution of consciousness. This is the only real revolution. Running out into the streets, throwing bottles and screaming and shooting at each other and all that, it's not a revolution. That's actually taking steps backwards, man. You're not going to get anywhere doing that. If that was all it took to change the world would have been different a long time ago. But all we end up with is the same state of existence that we've been in for quite a long time. So yeah. So like I said, make up your own names. You don't have to follow my names. You don't have to call it the dark art. If you don't like that word, don't call it the dark arts. I like to call it the dark arts, and that's just for now. Shit, maybe later I'm going to change to something else. But all these names and titles, I said it many times, they're not important. None of these names are important. Energy is just energy, and it's the intention that's what is important. So I'm just giving you, what I'm doing in all these videos is basically I'm giving people alternative frameworks of belief that might be better, might be more beneficial to their expansion of their own consciousness. And that's what it's all about, creating different paradigms that will be beneficial for you and for others. So let me see, going into some other things. But yeah, we need to kick off a new generation of thinking, a new generation of conscious beings, multidimensional beings, which we already are. We just simply forgot about it. So, yeah. Now, I see all these videos on YouTube about shadow people, man. There's so much propaganda bullshit out here, man. They even made a movie called Shadow People, scaring people to death, man. Look, say this once again in case people have not seen my past videos, but this is going to be much briefer. You are the shadow people. If you see a shadow entity, don't be afraid. This is your power. This is your time, your initiation rites. This is your time to rise to who you really are. The shadow entities, or whatever you want to call them, Hat Man and all this other nonsense, this is you. This is your power being externalized, manifesting itself, trying to make contact with you, telling you to wake the hell up, man, and get on board, because you got all this power, and you're projecting it onto silly bullshit theories about fear and things that keep you down. So yeah, I get a lot of information when I go into these other realms. Why do these things manifest? Well, people have been seeing their own inner selves in the form of shadows for a long time. But one question is, why do they appear in the dark? Why do they appear when everything's at nighttime? It's very simple. Darkness is a kind of like gateway that we can manipulate through into other realities. This is why when you meditate with your eyes closed. First your eyes are closed, and then you go into deeper states of consciousness. First your eyes are closed, and then you go into other realms. For so-called sleep, even though there's no sleep. But for people who want to call it sleep, before you start dreaming, you have to close your eyes first, man. And that's the gateway. The darkness is the gateway into the other realms. Now, a lot of people put all these connotations. Dark is evil, dark is this. You know what I mean when I say dark. I just mean fucking pitch black. When it's dark, that's when you shut off physical reality and you start going into these other realms of thinking. So, yeah. Now, getting back to my previous video, I talked about the ancient ones. Who are they? They're basically us manipulating in other realities of consciousness and other realms of belief and imagination. This is what we already are, and we have the power to bridge any reality we want to go to. The innocence will take you to anywhere you want to go. Anywhere you want to go. Wherever you end up at, this is something that you have manifested. This is a reality that you have created yourself. So, yeah. Let me see. I got a few minutes, so I'm trying to get a lot of things in here. Another thing I wanted to touch on was experiences with your consciousness, creating certain states, mental states. For anyone who's ever done any kind of, how do I say, hallucinogenics, drugs, these type of things. Now, I'm not saying go out and do drugs. I'm simply saying that, I don't know, I'm having deja vu. Did I talk about this before? Or am I talking about it now in another reality? Alright, it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, man, check this out. If you used to be a heavy smoker, like smoking weed or taking LSD and all this stuff, once that stuff is into your system, you have the ability to re-experience it, and all you have to do is go into these deep states of consciousness and make contact with that energy. Everything is cellular memory, and once you experience something, there's no time. So like when we think about something, if it's something that we've already experienced, and when we think about it, it seems as if we're traveling in time, in the past. But that's just, it's an illusion. Nothing is real. There is no time. So if I think about what I did when I was a kid at 5 years old, I'm going to have this mental image of me traveling back in time, back to the future, to when I was 5 years old. But actually, it's just, when we travel through intensities of emotion. So that's all electromagnetic energy. Anything that I've already experienced gives the illusion of being in the past. Anything new that I've experienced gives the illusion of happening in the future. So, yeah, these are different things for you to think about. If you've already experienced it, it's going to seem as if you're traveling to the past, but actually, if you get to that point, this is something that's still happening right now. And if there's anything that you want to travel and travel to or experience, it seems like it's happening in the future, but everything's happening right now. So, like I said, this video is jumping around a lot. I apologize if it seems like I'm not really touching on anything deep. This is mostly kind of like a filler, just to, because I don't want to take these long pauses and breaks in between. So I want to just, keep people updated on what's going on with my experiences, and kind of be just fuel for yourselves. The image of me should not be as a person who knows everything. I never said I know everything, but just use my image as a kind of guide back to yourself. Some people don't need any type of imagery, but some people actually do need it. And for those who do need to have some type of how do I say, security system or something to make themselves feel safe, what you could do is, say for example, say when you start traveling into other realms and you go into deep meditations, right? And you don't really have any good frame of reference, then you think of me, man, and I'll be your number one buddy on the other realms. Now, this will be a manifestation of your own creation, but it could even be your inner self. But some people don't feel confident enough with themselves to manifest, or to like just jump into things and start handling business or doing what they want, creating. So they do need a kind of familiar face. A lot of people don't have anyone they can talk to about this. Some people only see my video, and maybe many other people on YouTube. But all I can say is, if you use my image, or if I manifest in your dream states, it's your own power, just using a friendly face to make you feel more comfortable with yourself. And my image is only supposed to be to make you feel powerful by yourself. If I pop up in your dream states, if I pop up in your meditations, my image just means you have your own power and you don't need me. That's what it's all about. You can use the image of me as you see fit. Don't abuse me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you can use the image of me as it suits your fancy, but just remember, my image is an image of liberation and freedom, basically meaning that you don't need anyone. So if you probably see me in another realm, I'll probably tell you, hey man, get to work, because you don't need my help. You could do it yourself. We could go traveling together and have an adventure together, but I'm not necessary. I'm not giving you any power. I'm not. I'm not giving you anything. I'm giving you back to yourself, so that you can learn from yourself. So I'm just a familiar face. That's it. Smiling, telling you, hey man, what's up, brother? Hey sister, fellow multidimensional being. You have power, and I'm here to make sure that you use your own power and not get pulled into some bullshit fantasy that could be your own, or something that's less beneficial to your consciousness development. Excuse me. So I got to get back. I got to teach class now and have a good time over here in Japan. But yeah, this is just a quick video to put out here. It's not very heavy, not very long, as you can see. Not like my usual videos that go on and on. But yeah, just touching base, letting you all know that I'm thinking about y'all always, and we're all connected, man. Nobody needs credentials. Don't waste your money on this bullshit out here, man. I see people going to dream seminar classes, regain your power classes. That's the main problem right there. People looking for money, man. You don't need money for none of this shit, man. This is all self-power, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I'm always going to market. For me, it's all about self-power. The good thing about doing things out of the kindness of, just say your heart, because you want to do it, you generally want to help people. There's no real competition. Everybody out there looking for money, you can't compete with free, man. You just can't. So yeah, I have no competition, because I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I'm not selling nothing. And if I was, it'd be me selling you back to yourself free of charge. Just trying to get you to wake up and realize who you really are. Yeah, so that's it for now. I'll get back at y'all later during this week or another day, but it's a little something for y'all to think about. Alright, man. Peace, love, and harmony as always. I love y'all. And yeah, keep your training and your studies up. Keep studying yourself, and you'll learn more than any book or science or religion will ever show you in any reality, because you create all realities everywhere you want to go. Later.